Hi, welcome back to my channel, Open the Door. Today is episode 19, Unlocking the Difference Between Walls and Boundaries. Boundaries and walls are both necessary at times, but there is a big difference between the two. They're both defense mechanisms that are used to protect from perceived threats, harms, or emotional pain. And they do serve different purposes and have different effects. They're both subconscious reactions to past traumas, betrayals, or fears of being vulnerable. But they can also be conscious decisions based on our needs at the time. So I'm going to talk about walls first. Well, walls create barriers that isolate and hinder meaningful connections with others. They can provide temporary protection, but ultimately they impede the growth and the depth of our relationships. Examples of walls that we might set up would be emotional walls, avoidance of intimacy, communication walls when there's a refusal to engage in difficult conversations, and trust walls created from past betrayals. So when would be a good time to set up walls? Well, as a form of self-protection, to protect against repeated harm when someone disregards our boundaries, they disrespect us or pose a threat to our physical, emotional well-being. Another example of when it's a good time to put up a wall would be when we're feeling emotionally vulnerable after experiencing trauma, loss, or a significant emotional, something causing significant emotional distress. And temporary walls can provide a space for emotional healing, but as I said, they're detrimental if kept in place for too long. Overwhelming stress can cause us to put walls up when stress just becomes too intense. And the walls can help us to prevent emotional burnout. Another example would be to maintain boundaries in a toxic environment when we feel that our personal safety and well-being are at risk. And the wall could be a protective measure to protect from further harm or intrusion. Putting walls in place as a boundary setting mechanism to assert our needs, our values, and our limits. And it's essential, as I said, to work towards eventually breaking down walls, not keeping them in place. Why do we put up walls? Well, it could be based on past experiences, a fear of vulnerability, not wanting to show our true feelings and emotions, having low self-esteem and protecting ourselves against criticism and rejection, lack of trust when past disappointments have led us to become skeptical and hesitant to trust, avoidance of conflict when we have fear of expressing opinions that may cause disagreements, and the desire for control, when we feel a need to maintain a sense of autonomy and protect from vulnerability. So that's all information that has to do with walls. Now I'm going to talk about boundaries and how they're different. So walls, if kept up too long, can become detrimental, but boundaries contribute to the health and sustainability of our relationships. Boundaries are when we set healthy limits to protect our physical, emotional, and well-being in a relationship. Boundaries are conscious choices that we are made to establish expectations, respect, and mutual understanding with another. They promote healthy communication, respect, and autonomy within relationships. Examples of boundaries would be these type of things. Needing respect for our personal space. When we express our needs and limits, when we communicate our expectations for a behavior, when we set time boundaries and our limits for our time and energy, when we set material boundaries around our possessions and resources. And social boundaries can be set up by choosing who, when, where, and how we spend our social time. So when should we set up boundaries? Well, within our relationships, it's crucial for maintaining healthy and respectful relationships regarding communication, our personal space, emotional support, and behavior. Another example of a good time to set up boundaries would be at work, to establish for yourself a healthy work-life balance, setting limits on your work hours and delegating tasks when you're able. Setting boundaries with ourselves by prioritizing self-care to maintain our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Setting limits on certain activities. Everything in moderation, right? Saying no to what doesn't align with our morals and values. In social situations, it's a good time to set up boundaries to help us to feel comfortable and respected, and establishing, boundaries in conversation and our personal space. And with technology, we can set up boundaries and maintain a healthy balance between online and offline, setting limits on our screen time and our work-related activities. So sometimes it's necessary to set boundaries for ourselves, and it doesn't always relate to our relationship with other people. Hold on, I lost my place. Okay, so next up is tips to set boundaries using clear communication. I don't know why I said it like that. All right, tips to set boundaries. So know your limits regarding your relationships, regarding work, regarding your personal life. Once you have become aware of what your limits are, then it's easier for you to think about setting healthy boundaries. Be specific when you're setting boundaries with others. Use examples, use language that avoids being ambiguous by using I statements like I need, I feel. Take ownership of your needs and your feelings and express yourself in that way. And as you're doing so, be assertive while still being respectful. But you do want to be assertive, and it helps you maintain those boundaries without feeling the need to apologize for them. And then once you've set them up, be consistent. Consistently enforce your boundaries, even when it's uncomfortable. That's hard. But it helps us establish trust and respect over time with the others in our relationships. Start small. Begin in small stakes situations and gradually build your confidence and assertiveness and your ability to set boundaries. Use nonverbal cues, so assertive posture, eye contact, and when speaking, a firm and respectful tone with confidence, but still being respectful. And my last point here is be prepared for pushback. Some people may resist or challenge your boundaries, and especially if they're used to overstepping. Maybe you hadn't set boundaries before, and now you're at a point in your life where you feel the need to do that, and it may throw some people off a little because, well, that's not how she's done things in the past, but you've got to do what's right for you in the moment now. So most of all, stay calm and stand firm when you're setting your boundaries. And if you are putting walls up, keep them temporary. Don't let it ruin your relationships and your interaction with others and your ability to enjoy your life. So this is my information on walls and boundaries for you here today. I thank you for joining me. Again, I see in my analytics there a number of you who are regular viewers, and I really do appreciate that. It's nice to have support. I hope you're well. I wish you peace, love, and light. I do want to make another sound healing video. They don't seem to be watched as much as the talking heads, so that's why I haven't made as many of them. But I'll keep cranking those out as well. But always within 3 or 4 days, you should expect another video from me. So I will have another one coming out shortly. And in the meantime, stay well. Take good care of yourself. And I'll see you soon.